Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Did you know Outlaw Troopers has a free to play option now? Gives you a chance to go ahead and test out the game, see if you like it, see if you want to jump into it. And what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to go ahead and show you how to access that free to play and then really walk through the basics, basically what new players should do in order to test out the game to see if it's right for them. But before we jump into the video, please take a quick look at this disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please make sure you do your own research before you jump into any project. Don't take my word for it. Just make sure it's right for your situation. All right, if you want to go ahead and access the free to play and also just take a deeper look at the game, go ahead to outlawtrooper.io and that'll take you to this screen. And you're going to see down here, play now, how to play. And then what we're going to dive into today is try for free. So go ahead and click on that. And what it's going to do is it's going to take you over here. And the nice thing about this free to play option, you do not need a wallet. You don't need a Wax wallet and you don't need an IMX wallet. You can just go ahead and play with either your Discord name, or you can go ahead with your X account or a MetaMask if you happen to have that, or just go ahead and throw in there your email address if you want to go ahead and test it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click up on sign up. What I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what I'm going to do. I'll put it in there and jump ahead in the video just because I don't want to show any private information. So you want to go ahead and enter a username. Obviously your choice. It has to be something that's currently not being used. Your email address and your password. Most likely you're going to have to go ahead and verify. So just be aware that use an email address that actually works. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sign up using those details that I just told you. And then I'll show you what the next step is. All right, I went ahead in there and filled out my information, username, password, and my email address. It did make me verify. It sent me a 6-digit code that I went ahead and entered, and then it brought me to the screen, which is basically a lookalike, a copy of what Outlaw Troopers is going to look like for you. So what you're going to go ahead and see, you're going to see up here at the top, it says free. That means you're going ahead and playing the free version of it. So you want to check, select a server that's closest to you. I'm going to go ahead and do the US, California, and then you go ahead and click on play. Then it's going to go ahead and take you into the free to play dashboard. This is essentially has a summary of everything that's involved in the game. As you can see right now, I'm 0 for everything that's in here because I just signed in for the first time. If you take a look through this, it's the different sections, the latest news, your daily milestones, which is a cool new addition that they have. So you can actually get milestones as you can continue to work through the different parts of the game. And then if you need any videos or any specific areas in detail as far as how-to guides, there's some great videos out here that you can go ahead and check out. We're going to go ahead and close the dashboard, and it's going to take you to this screen, which is the mission screen, which we're going to get to here in a second. But I wanted to show you a few other areas first to get them moving because we'll explain that as we go through the process. The first thing that you're going to want to do as soon as you get into the game itself is you're going to want to go over to Empire Management and you want to go to Traits. This is new. This isn't new, but it changes or resets every single season. It's basically a way to get 5 free traits, not free, but low cost traits that'll give you a big bonus throughout the game, depending on what you roll. It's completely RNG. So that means it's basically the luck of the roll of the dice. But you can get some really good bonuses here. You could also get some negative impacts here too. So just be aware of that. If you scroll down a little bit, it shows some notes here. There's 2 ways to roll. You can either go ahead and use the free freebie coin that they have here, which is part of the free to play. If you play the other version of the game, it's the FGL token. Or you can go ahead and use credits, which you can see down here. You're automatically given 1 million credits to start out the game. I would suggest, at least for the start, for the first time you roll, maybe roll a few times to see what kind of thing you're going to get, and then go from there. If you roll the lucky roll, you automatically get a legendary trait. So one of the 5 traits will definitely be legendary. You could even get 2 legendaries in there, but you also have a chance to get negative ones. Since it's free to play, since you have a bunch of freebie tokens, you can go ahead and roll as many times as you want. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go maybe once or twice just to kind of see what I get, show you as an example, and then we'll move on from here. So you can go ahead and just go ahead and do pay the 100 tokens. It was successful. And you can see that I got one legendary, gives me bonus rewards, but I also got a few drawbacks, which isn't the greatest. So we're going to just quickly roll this a few more times just to see what happens. Just go through it and find out what's best for you. Again, 2 drawbacks and a legendary. We'll roll it one more time just to show you as an example as far as refreshing it. And again, we have 2 drawbacks and a legendary. You could get anything from here. There's a lot of times if you decide to roll it a few more times, you could actually get 1 or 2 legendaries and no drawbacks. But that's completely up to you how much you want to go ahead and roll. Since it's the free to play, since you've got a ton of these freebie coins, you could probably roll 15, 20 times until you find out what you like. The only caveat is if there's something that you kind of like that's pretty good, you're not going to get that roll again. So you may want to stick with that at least early game. And then as you go through the season, you can kind of roll again if you choose to. That's completely up to you. But that's the traits. This is a nice little bonus that you get to start out the game, and you can go ahead and push it out there really early, essentially as soon as you walk into the game itself. A few other things I want to mention here is we'll go with the companions, also under Empire Management. These are helpers that essentially give you passive resources as you're going through the game. When you start out the free-to-play version of it, you can access the missions for these, but you do not have the companions yet. In order to get the companions, you have to go ahead and recruit them by paying a small fee to start, and as you go down, the higher ones are a much higher fee as they're mid to late game style companions. But you can go ahead and hire the few here, and they're going to give you passive credits and passive ore, which will help you along throughout the game. And you can level these up to higher levels to get better rewards. Just for the sake of what we're doing right now, I'm going to go ahead and hire the first few. As you can see, I was able to hire 4. Still have some credits left. I can't get this one because he's 100 million. I'm not quite there yet. But as you can see, you can go ahead and get passive resources as you're going through the game itself. The one thing that you do want to keep an eye on is your corruption down here. The more missions that we run, the more stuff that we do, the corruption is going to get closer to 0 and above 0. So this Sparky is another good resource to have out here because it kind of, anything 0 to negative corruption is a good thing. Anything above 0 is going to give you a negative impact on your mission runs and mission rewards. Speaking of missions, let's talk about that because that's the next thing that you really want to do once you get into the game itself. You want to go up here to, again, Empire Management, click on missions, and you're going to see a whole assortment of missions here. There's 2 that I probably recommend focusing on early. It is the heist, maybe get 1 or 2 of those going as far as the missions going, and most of them you want to focus on is the hacking. The hacking is going to give you keys. The keys can be used for encounters and the abyss, and that's what you're going to focus a lot of your time on is the encounters and the abyss. But in order to run those, you need the keys. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead to hacking, and you click on that, and what you're going to do is you're going to send some of your troopers out on this mission to, again, passively provide you with these resources, these keys. In order to do that, for the free-to-play version, they've given you a ton of troopers. You have a lot of troopers to go ahead and do this. You have a few of the gears. Gears give you bonuses for the specific mission. And there's a couple types of gears that we'll talk about here in a few seconds. But I wanted to show you, just walk you through this. In order to run a mission, you're going to need 3 things. You need a ship, you need a trooper, and an optional item is the gear. So you technically only need 2. I like to go ahead and use gear as we get them throughout playing the game. So you're going to see those 3 here. They automatically assign them if you have them. If you want to go ahead and change out your gear, you can go ahead and click on here. This specific trooper has 6 slots. Some of them have 3 slots, some of them have no slots. So it all depends on the type of trooper and their rarity level. So you can see a few here. We have a few already put on here, the loot finder and the cargo expander. But you can go ahead and scroll here and put, again, up to 6 for this specific one. So we're going to go ahead and add a few more overload. We have the bargaining script, which gives us extra credits, extra ore, and I think that's good to go for at least what we want to do. So you're going to now see them listed. You have my trooper and you have the ship that I have available. And what's going to happen as far as the results go, you're going to see I get 1 access key every 122 minutes. I'm going to get some extra credits. I'm going to get some extra ore, but it does cost me some corruption. So my corruption right now is 0. It's going to go, I'm sorry, my corruption right now is -10. It's going to go up to 0, which is still fine. I'm not going to get hurt by that, and it's going to cost me a little bit of credits here. So if I go ahead and run that, you'll see some adjustments on the bottom here. See my credits bump up there, my ore bump up there. My corruption is over 20 now because of everything that was added there. So now it's technically a negative impact, but these are so high that it's actually not too bad. The next thing that you're going to see is it automatically pops up with the next trooper that's available, but I'm out of ships. As far as free to play goes, they only give you 1 ship. They give you a ton of troopers, so you need to go ahead and grab a couple more ships. In order to do that, you go to Underworld Trading, select Ship Terminal, and this is where it's going to give you access to those. You're going to have access to a ton of them, all depending on how much credits you have available. For early game, when you first log in, you can't get a lot of these big ones because you just don't have the tokens or the credits. So we're going to go ahead and rent a few of these drifters to let me go ahead and run some missions. So we're going to go back to the missions, Empire Management. We're going to run a few more of these hacking missions. Just go ahead and get some. The one thing I also wanted to mention is there's 3 types of troopers out here. Like I said, they give you a whole assortment of troopers at all different rarity levels for you to go ahead and test out the game. The yellow is going to be legendary. These are going to be epic. The purple, the blue are going to be rare. The gray are going to be commons. And these robots, these bottom ones here, are quits, which we'll get to here in a second, but you don't want to focus on those quite yet. In each of the rarity levels, there are 3 different types of troopers. There are some that are really good at running encounters and some that give you bonuses on missions. For example, the Workhorse. The Workhorse type of character, if you look across here, gives you an extra big bonus. If you highlight over these 2, they give you a 70% bonus just because of the rarity, 70%. But this Workhorse is going to give you that 70 plus 150. So when you're running these missions, you want to focus on starting out with the Workhorses because they're going to give you that extra bonus. As you can see for the legendary, that first one I already put in the hacking mission, that was the Workhorse for legendary. So for the next mission, I'm going to go ahead and run this guy, and we'll click on him. So he'll be in there. He gives me that extra bonus. We have the ship already assigned that we just run it out. And then now every 480 minutes, we're going to go ahead and get some more of the keys that we need. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And then we'll go ahead and just throw one more out there. It looks like we have another one of these guys. So we'll go ahead and use this other Workhorse. And we'll add a few gears just to put that out there. Let's see if there's anything that we want. A 5% chance of getting a double. Corruption received in the mission is decreased by 2. And then we'll go ahead and run him. And you get more gear as you run the encounters, which we'll talk about here in a second. So now you can go ahead and get them out there. So you have a number of missions out there that are running, that are getting these access keys for the encounters. The other area that you want to go ahead and take a look at is not only is there in the encounters that you're going to run quite a bit, but there's the Abyss. The Abyss is another area and takes a different type of key. It takes robotic keys. So another thing that you want to start out here right away so you can start generating the keys is start working on the robotic keys. So if you're in missions, it's the exact same thing. You want to do the hacking. This time, instead of doing all these different troopers with the different rarity levels, instead of doing those, you want to focus on the quits. The quits are little robots that go out there and they find these robotic keys for you. So if I click on that, we're going to go ahead and see that I have 200 of those quits in here for free to play. And then you want to go ahead and put them at the hacking mission. So I'm actually going to, because of my corruption being 58, I'm only going to send 140 there. And I'll tell you why I do that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and send 140 out to get those robotic keys. They'll start generating them pretty quickly. The other 60 that I'm going to have, I'm going to go ahead and send out on the supervising mission, the robot supervising mission, because that's going to decrease my corruption and bring my my production, my mission rewards back to the way they should be. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and put 60 over here, and then we're going to go ahead and save the assignments. And now what you're going to see a big jump. This went back down to negatives, which is exactly what you want. And you have these back to normal running resources as far as the rewards go. So now we have two types of missions really going out there, two different types of hacking missions, and passively we're going to start earning the access keys and the robotic keys. So when you actually get one of those keys, you're going to see it highlight down here. You're going to see this is the messages that you get to let you know that passively they're getting either gear or keys. So you'll start seeing this number go up here over the next, I guess, few minutes. We may start seeing some robotic keys come in there, but it's important you get that taken care of right away and you start generating those keys so you can start actually playing the main part of the game. And the main part of the game is under the combat related here. It's encounters and it's the abyss. This is where you're going to spend a majority of your time after you set up this stuff. The encounters is a strategy skill-based style encounter, and the abyss is more of a PvP turn-based style game. So we're going to start right now and show you the normal encounters. This is what you need those access keys for. But the good thing is the first 4 tiers of this normal encounter are free. You can go ahead and test it out. You can get started. You won't earn any reputation or anything along those lines. You may earn some gear and things like that, but it's just to get you familiar with the game itself. Again, this is a skill-based, strategy-based style of thing. You can set it up any way that you want, test a number of different setups, and you can continue forward from there as you go higher and higher into the tiers. Just quickly explain what you're seeing on the screen here is up here at the top is the environment. The environments give you different random rewards. So there's a number of different environments out there. These are bonuses. As you go up higher in your reputation level, or you get higher tiers in the encounters, or you get further in the abyss, you get these extra bonuses that help you later in the game. In addition to the extra bonuses, as far as defense and so forth and damage, you're also going to get a gear score increase. Right now we have a gear score of 60. The higher that gets, the more gear your ships can use and the stronger they are. And you'll see more of that here in a second. On the right side, it's going to show you the different nodes that are available in Tier 1, the different enemies that are available, the dominators, which there are none, and there's no troves because we're in the free levels. Once you get past 4, you're going to start seeing some of these involved as you go higher and higher in the tiers. All right, so let's go ahead and actually jump into the setup for the normal encounters, and then I'll show you one of the normal encounters. Starting with the setup, if you look down here, you can see that we have 0 keys still, but again, cost is free, so we can go ahead and play it. So let's select this encounter, and it's going to give you a very similar setup that we saw in the missions. You want to select a ship, a trooper, and gear if you have the gear to go ahead and play. So let's go ahead and select a ship, and we only have the drifters available, and as you continue to go forward, you'll get more and more. The troopers, we got a ton to select from. We're going to go ahead and use Fire Shot because that is the highest one, probably the best that's right now for available and free to play for these normal encounters. At least from my personal perspective, you can see whatever setup works best for you. And then gear, there are a ton of gear. As I mentioned previously, there are a few different types of gear that are available. There is tactician gear, there is power gear, there's limited gear, and then there is the collection gear, the green that we saw for the missions, which doesn't help you on this side of it. The tactician or tactician, that's actually like a passive reward. It's a passive bonus for your battling. And then you have power gear, which is more active. You actually have to activate it for it to work. And then there's limited gear, which is very rare, but extremely powerful. As far as free to play, they don't give you any of these types of gears. I just want to make sure that you're aware of them if you decide to play the full version of the game itself. So starting up here at the top, we want to take a look at some of the passive ones. Again, this is a matter of preference on how you want to play. There's a ton of different strategies that you can go ahead and play the game with. You can either go fully defensive, you can go with speed, you can go with attack. It's totally up to you. But the thing that's going to limit us here early is the gear score that I mentioned earlier. If you continue to get higher reputation levels and higher tiers throughout the normal encounters, this number will go up. But for right now, it only allows us, or it only really gives us the ability to go ahead and put one gear on there. I'm just going to select this guy right here, randomly kind of. Actually, no, I'll go with this one instead. If you want to take it off, you go ahead and click on it. Click it to put it on there. You can use whatever you want. It's not really that critical here for the first 4 free tiers that we're going to go through. Click on confirm. So now we have our ship, our trooper, and our gears available. Down here you have some default skills or some additional skills that you can go ahead and use. It's again up to you, your decision. My personal preference is to go ahead and unselect these because I really enjoy the missile attack, the nullify, and the mark. Those just happen to be my favorite over the past couple seasons. But I encourage you to go ahead and test and find out what's best for you. And you can level these all up again to see what's best for your situation. And we'll go ahead and close that, and you'll see it's updated down here. And we'll go ahead and confirm the deployment. So we're all set up. We're ready to go. We are going to go out to the battlefield and go ahead and attack some of these ships and get some rewards from it. So this is the basic setup. You have the map on this side. You start here. Your goal is to go across and get to this crown. Each of these spots where you see the little icons are going to give you some rewards. Early game, you're going to want to avoid these radioactive areas. Those are mid to late game types of items. So we're just going to go straight across here. The first node that you go to is empty, so you can go ahead and see that. And then down here are the skills that we had just talked about as far as the missiles, nullify, and the marks, which we'll use here in a second. So in order to go to the next one, I'm going to go ahead and click on here. And when I click on here, some enemies are going to start appearing. This is my ship down here, and I'm going to have to go ahead and attack those. The nice thing about these things down here, the missiles, it's going to clear out these first levels so easily, but you can go ahead and do that. We just took out those 2 ships, and we got 2 gear from that node. There's a couple ways you can go through this. You can just go straight across here to try and get through this as quickly as possible so we can continue to go up the tiers. Or if you want to go ahead and try and get as much gear as possible, I can go ahead and clear out each of these nodes and get, every time I clear out a node, I'm going to get 2 more gear, which will help me out in the early game. As you get further and further in the game, you may not want to go that strategy, but now you see that I have 4 available. I got 2 from here and 2 from here. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and grab these 2 and have a total 8 gear. Just in the interest of the video, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. The one caveat that I do want to mention, if you go ahead, each node that you clear out, the difficulty is going to get higher. So if you go ahead and clear all these out, this guy, the boss, is going to be much more challenging than if you just went straight across. So be aware of that also. It may not impact you much in these early levels, but as you get higher, it will impact you. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, and it's going to be the boss, which is essentially the overseer, plus a number of his minions. You see the overseer up here, and you see some of his minions popping. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to nullify him, which instantly destroys him, and then send the missiles at the rest of them. Makes this a super easy one, but again, this strategy will not work mid to late game. It's going to be a lot more difficult. It just works pretty well here in the early phases. All right, so we went ahead and won those 4 gear. So these are, it shows you here, and then you go ahead and return. And what you can see is I now have tier 2 available. I've also went ahead and bumped this up. Now I have a 4 instead of a 2% bonus because I'm on the 2nd tier. And then my gear score went from 60 to 80. As you continue to go through this, it'll continue to improve. What I'm going to do very quickly here is I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to where I have these first 4 completely cleared, and we can move on from there. All right, I have gone through that pretty quickly, and you can see I am now to tier 5, 10% bonus. I'm up to 140 gear score. Pretty easy, pretty quick to get through those. And you're able to get some additional bonuses as you're going through that, and some gear and some other resources. Now that we're through that, what I wanted to go ahead and show you is you see down here in the time that it took, I have 2 notifications down here. If I go ahead and click on that, I have 2 robotic keys, which is going to help us for the next phase of this video. What I'm going to do is I may jump back to the normal encounters as we're continuing to work through this video once we get some access keys, so I can show you at least the higher or the next tier of the normal encounters. So let's go ahead and talk about the Abyss, where we're going to use these robotic keys. If you go back up to combat related, the Abyss, this is the other main area of the game that you're going to spend quite a bit of time in. So we're going to go ahead and click on the Abyss, and then we're going to go ahead and it's going to take you through a very brief tutorial, which we'll walk through just as part of this video. When you first get in there, the dashboard shows you how deep you are, just give you an explanation of what the Abyss is. If you've ever been into one of those tower games where you go ahead and you go to a level, you clear out the monsters, which allows you to get to the next level, and then you continue to go up and up and up the tower. This is the reverse. You're actually going down into the depths of the Abyss. So it's similar style as far as you got to take out a level or a depth in this case, which will clear out a number of things for you and give you some additional resources and help you out as you continue to work through. So you start out at depth 0. As far as the next rock batch, that's essentially every 24 hours it resets. And if you do well, it's going to give you it's going to give you a refresh of your battles. You get 20 battles every single day as far as the PvP arena goes. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the PvP arena here shortly in your rankings. But what I wanted to focus on starting out here was just walk through the tutorial portion of it. You're going to want to go to laboratory, and then you're going to go to manage your biocrafts. Your biocrafts are basically your troops, your soldiers that are going to battle in this Abyss and help you get better and better. When you first log into this, you get three free biocrafts. So you can go ahead and just grab those by crafting those. There's range, there's a mid-range, and there's a tank for this. If you want to go ahead and see their stats, you can go ahead and click on View Details, and it's going to go ahead and show you the damage, their health, their range, and their speed, which will help you as you strategize as you continue to go through. So we now have those 3 available, and we're going to go into the Delve. This is essentially the tower in reverse going down into the Abyss. And we're going to go ahead and challenge the first depth. The first depth is free to go ahead and do. Once you continue on into further depths, you're going to have to use those access keys that we had discussed before. But as far as for this example, we're going to see these are the monsters that we're going to go ahead and face. This is where they are on the board. And we're going to have the option to go ahead and place our biocrafts here to battle it out and see who wins this. So you do want to take a look at their stats. Ranged weapons will give you a little bit more distance. So this guy's my tank, and I'm going to put my tank right on the front line. He should be the one that's taking most of the beatings while the rest of the guys are shooting them. Then this guy is a range 2, so I'm actually going to go ahead and put him back a little further. And this one is the furthest distance away as far as the furthest range goes, and probably the least tanky. So we'll go ahead and put this one back here. So in theory, these guys should be attacking him, and the rest of them should come around and attack. So let's go ahead and start the battle. It's going to go ahead turn by turn. It's essentially an auto battle or turn type of characteristics. You can speed it up, you can slow it down, or you can just watch and see how it all works out. If you want to skip over, you hit close, and that'll automatically skip through it. But you can see my guys are winning pretty easily here. Again, it's just kind of showing you how the battle system works. So I won. You can see West team won. Go ahead and hit close, and it says I defeated them, and I've unlocked depth 2. So 1 is now taken care of. That's available for me to go ahead and use. Depth 2 is available for me to try and take over now. It's 3 monsters, but it's going to cost me 40 artifacts and 2 robotic keys. Right now, I don't have any artifacts, so I can't go ahead and jump in here. I do have the 2 robotic keys that we had talked about. I actually got 3 of them now ever since we've been going on here. They're generating in the background, which is great. That's why we want to go ahead and start that process as soon as you log in. All right, so now that we have the delves available, we have the laboratory available, can't quite go in the arena yet. So we're going to go to hunting so we can start earning those artifacts. The artifacts will allow me to do the arena and also continue to go down in levels in here. So let's jump over there. We'll go ahead and manage our biocrafts. You can check out the guide if you want to, but I'll quickly explain it here. These are the ones that you have available. We had already talked about those. We got those in the laboratory, and you can go ahead and upgrade those with the artifacts as you get them. And then on the right side here is going to be your action side. You're going to go ahead and click this pull down bar. And right now, as I told you, we only have depth 1 available. As you continue to go down and down and down, you'll have additional ones available. So essentially what this is you're going to send your biocrafts out to go at hunting, and they're going to go ahead and bring some rewards back for you. So this first one, again, because it's part of the tutorial, you're going to get it for 1 minute. After this, it's going to range from 128 minutes to 240 minutes, depending on how many quits you have. Thankfully, as part of this free-to-play, they give you 200 quits, which the quits are those little robots that we sent out on the robotic key missions, if you forgot. That gives us a bonus. As far as if you go down here and scroll down to the bottom, if you have 200 quits, it cuts the time in half. So it's going to take us 120 minutes instead of the 240, just because we have those there. Anything above 200 doesn't give you the bonus. Anything under essentially is going to give you a bonus of 0.25 per quit that you have. So if I go ahead here, this first one that I'm going to run, it's only going to take me a minute. And when I run it, it's going to give me 30 artifacts and 10 reputation. Reputation is going to be used to help you in the leaderboards. So we're going to go ahead and select this first guy, and we're going to send him out there. And he's sent, and you're going to see I have the 1 minute timer. And then we'll go ahead and click on the next one, and you see it jumped up to the 120. Again, that was the freebie tutorial one I sent out there. So now when I want to go ahead and send this guy out, it's actually going to get the same rewards, but it's going to cost me 1 access key, and it's going to cost me 3 million tokens, which I don't have right now. So we're going to have to hold off on that guy right now. We're going to have to run more normal encounters in order to be able to do it. This guy, we're just gonna talk through a few things here. He's gonna go out there and run while I quickly talk about the arena. If you want to go ahead and fight in the arena, you can go ahead and click fight now. It's gonna cost you some of the freebie tokens, but it's gonna give you stuff and rewards, which is great. And it's random. You randomly get assigned to fight someone. It is the auto battler that we just saw for the delve, so it's that same process. So I'm going to go ahead and use the same setup that I did for the delve that we went through. And you can actually see down here that hunter mission that I went on, it completed. We'll get back to it in a second. But let's go ahead and run a few arenas. It's going to get you randomly positioned against other people. And then you're going to go ahead and attack. And you can either watch it play out, or you can go ahead and hit close, and it automatically closes or automatically completes it for you. Since this is a little bit more of a battle compared to what we saw before, I'll let it run for a few seconds here, and then we'll go ahead and auto-complete it. You can see they're battling. These guys are battling around, and I'm probably going to lose this one, so we'll go ahead and click. The nice thing about when you lose is you still get the artifacts, and you get the diamonds. The diamonds are used for something else, but the artifacts you can go ahead and use to level up your guys, or you can go ahead and continue down the delve into the abyss. So we'll do a few more here just to show you if I win. Hopefully I win one. There we go. If you win, you get these medals. And the medals go ahead and help you on the arena or the abyss leaderboard. The higher you are on that board at the end of the season, you're going to get some rewards for it. So we had 3 there. I'm actually going to go over here and click on this and redeem my, I was able to redeem my hunter. So he completed over here. And if I want to keep going, I can go ahead and do that, but I need to get some more credits before I can go ahead. Let's talk about one more thing in here as far as the dashboard. We're jumping back to the dashboard here. As you saw, I ran 3 missions or 3 arena battles. So now I have 17 left in the day. Again, you get 20 per day. I'm at depth 1, and you get the rewards here, and you can see my ranking went up just a little bit because I only won 1 of those arena battles. But if you do well and you can keep fighting through here throughout the season, you can get a whole bunch of extra quits, which will help you down the road as far as the Abyss goes and the free-to-play goes. All right, now that we got through the Abyss, again, you're going to spend a lot of time here and you're going to spend a lot of time here in the normal encounters. Let's go ahead and jump back to the rest of the Outlaw Troopers. If you take a look down here, I think these are just the robotic keys that we saw. So let's go ahead. Yeah, they're all robotic keys. So I can't show you the normal encounters yet. We'll continue to go walk through this stuff and I'll talk through it. And if we get back to it and we get some keys, we'll go ahead and run that. What I did want to do is I want to go back to the dashboard quick. As you can see, there are some, if you continue to go through, once I clear that 5th tier on the normal encounter, I'll go ahead and get some rewards, which is pretty cool. You go ahead and get a number of robotic keys, some reputation, and an arc that'll help you. Arc is like a quest that you can go ahead and run and gives you additional rewards. What I wanted to talk through now is I want to kind of wrap up this video with a quick going through the rest of the parts within the game itself. I'm going to go ahead and I saw it updated, so I want to see if there was the access key. Let's start off with the accounts. A number of these things are not necessarily available for the free-to-play. For example, the exchange and the market. They are not available within free-to-play, but they're available for the rest of the game if you play the other version. Inventory, you're actually going to be in here quite a bit throughout the game also. Just kind of keep an eye on what you have, what you've been earning, what keys you have, what artifacts you have available, and all the gears that you have available to go ahead and play. You can find that all in the inventory. Some of the other things I'm just going to skip over. The challenges, if you're playing the whole season and you complete these challenges that are here, you'll start getting some additional rewards and you get actual NFTs. So you can play as free to play and earn NFTs, both by earning on the leaderboards, by the challenges, and a number of other ways where you can go ahead and earn those. So it's free to play, but you have a chance of earning stuff to take you into the full version of the game, which is awesome. Empire management, there's a couple things in here I wanted to address. Missions we already talked about, companions we already talked about, and the traits we already talked about. There's a few other things in here that you can take a look at. Upgrade, this is where I mentioned previously you can upgrade your companions to get higher rewards from the passive side. This is where you do that. Also upgrade your gear slots, not necessarily super critical for the free-to-play since you have those legendary troopers available to you, but you can use it if you want to use it. It's more usable in the full game when you don't have access to all these high tier or high rarity troopers. In addition here, I wanted to mention planets. Planets is a big part of the ecosystem. It is the cycle of the game. You go into the normal encounters and you run those and you earn credits and you earn virtual mechas as you're going through those normal encounters. You take those credits and those virtual mechas and you bring them here to a planet. Click on mine and you go ahead and mine any of these planets that are currently available. And what they're going to give you is called life force. Life force can then be converted into the token down here, the freebie token. But if you're in the normal game, it gets converted into FGL. And in the normal game, you can go ahead and pull that out and do what you want with the FGL. For this game, it continues to allow you to run additional items throughout, whether it's the arena battles or it's the normal encounters that you're going to need the freebie token for. So once you're here and you go ahead and start gaining the life force, you take it over to the underworld trading and you go to FBX system. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go ahead and put the life force in here, and every 24 hours it gets converted to the freebie token that allows you to go ahead and use it and continue to go. That's the cycle of the game. That's the main cycle of the game. There's plenty of other options in the game too, but that's the main cycle. Run normal encounters, get credits and virtual mechas, take those credits and virtual mechas over to the planet, mine for life force, take it here to the FBX system, and every 24 hours that gets converted back to freebie tokens. And it continues to grow and grow and grow and allows you to play all the other parts of the game itself. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted that because that is a very important part of the game also. A couple other things we want to take a look at is there's daily missions. We have all these troopers out there. If you have life force, if you'd rather spend the life force on this rather than the FBX system, you can do that and get some additional rewards, artifacts, virtual mechas, and reputation. And the reputation from this, from the normal encounters, from the abyss, all goes together to show you your level at the bottom here. And with your level, it takes you over to the leaderboard and allows you to get higher and higher on the leaderboard. I just started the game. I'm level 1. These guys have been playing all season, so they're a lot higher than I am. But if you go ahead and you compete really well in this and you can stay consistent, what's going to happen is you have a chance to win these prizes, and these prizes are actual NFTs that you can use for the other version of the game. So again, it is a free-to-play way to go ahead and earn NFTs to work your way into the other person if you don't want to go ahead and pay this, or it's not in your budget to go ahead and pay for those. So that's what you're going to want to do, is get the reputation to build that up. A few other things you may want to take a look at when you're in here is there is a black market here. The black market allows you to buy different things throughout the game. These genes allow you to upgrade your biocrafts. You can go ahead and buy keys if you don't want to wait for your keys, and gears and arcs and things like that. Arcs allow you to go ahead and do different quests to get different rewards. So there are a lot of ways within the games to go ahead and earn rewards that'll really help you out throughout the game. As you can see, just from this video is going to be over 30 minutes. I normally don't have videos that are that long, but I wanted to go ahead and show you all the different parts of the games itself. There's a lot of parts to it. A number of them I just kind of briefly went over. You can go into more depth. I have a ton of videos out here, like I said, on the dashboard. If you go over here on the right side, you can dive in a lot further into each of these types of things. But I wanted to give you the understanding to go ahead and get started. When you first log in there, do the traits, get your hacking mission started so you can go ahead and get keys, start working on the normal encounters and the abyss, and then start exploring throughout and go through that game cycle that I explained. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them down in the comments below. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.